The biggest gaming event of the year, E3, is coming to a close, and the question everyone's asking is, what was the game of the show? I'm joined by video games reporter Ben Skipper, and Ben, what were your picks from this year's Expo?
I have 5 games to talk about, because I want to spread the love, don't want to have just one game of show, but there is an outright game of show if there has to be.
Okay.
The first game I'm going to talk about is Rainbow Six Siege, which Ubisoft closed their conference with. The last 2 years they've shown off Watch Dogs and The Division, which have really wowed people, but this was it was a different kind of reveal because it was actual gameplay and people were able to play it afterwards on the show floor. And it's a return for the Rainbow Six franchise. We haven't seen it on consoles in 6 years. And it seems really good. It's based on these short, really fast-paced multiplayer games between a set of Rainbow Six squaddies and these people who've taken hostages. And the example given was a suburban house near Boston, and there's a planning phase and then the action phase. So for the planning, you really want to decide what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, and then when the action phase begins, it's really fast-paced and it's all-out carnage, basically, if your plan doesn't go to plan, which it inevitably won't. So yeah, you see these characters bursting into this house, and when I say bursting into the house, I literally mean bursting into the house, because you can shoot through walls, you can blow holes in everything. At one point they blow a hole in the floor and they just crash straight through on top of the hostage and the hostage takers to kill them, and it's 5 on 5, so every time someone dies it tells you it's 5 on 4 now, it's 5 on 3, it's 3 on 1 or whatever. And it seemed really fun and fast-paced, and the impressions people have been really, really good. Another game I've got is Splatoon, which is a very different kind of online shooter from Nintendo. It's a brand new IP, and yeah, this is going to be a hard one to explain. You play squids. You play humans with like a squid-like ability, and you have these guns that fire ink all over this map, and the winner is based on who has the most ink covering the map. But okay, that sounds crazy, and it is, but it's a really interesting design idea, because covering an area in ink means you can travel faster through it in your squid form. So ludicrous. Yeah, and it's a really cohesive game. It's a shooter without violence, which is a rarity in itself, and the objective is not to kill, but to cover the actual map itself. And it could possibly be a free-to-play game for Nintendo, and yeah, it could be a big success for them, because it certainly captured the imaginations of people. And then I've got Legend of Zelda, which is a well-established Nintendo IP, and we've known that this game has been in development for a couple of years now, and this is the first time we've actually seen it, and it was revealed in such a low-key way. We heard about the game and how they wanted to go back to the original sense of adventure and big open spaces, which is exactly what gamers have wanted. And then we just cut straight to this scene of this epic landscape, which goes on and on, stretches into the distance, and you've got Link there with its horse, just sitting there in this field as the wind blows in the grass, and it looked beautiful. And then that seamlessly went into gameplay, which was frantic and destructive, as this very strange spider-like creature chased after the lead character, and then eventually a fight broke out. And this is pretty much, it's exactly what people have wanted to see from a Zelda game, especially one on the Wii U, because it's a franchise that's been stagnating a little bit, and this seems like a breath of fresh air. And then my second to last game is Far Cry 4 from Ubisoft. A sequel, obviously, to Far Cry 3, which was a huge success, and this seems to be building on that. And sometimes sequels get a bad rep, but anyone who says that, they're lying to themselves, basically, because if there's a game they really like, they want more of it. And Far Cry 4 seems to be more of the same, but built upon in a really interesting way. So we've moved from a tropical island to the Himalayas, which is quite a stark difference. And yeah, there's got some interesting new mechanics as well. There's co-op, so someone can drop in and help you out at any point in the single-player game. And interestingly, and this seems like witchcraft, but you'll be able to invite people in to play the game with you who don't actually own it. So you don't have to own the game to actually play this, and it won't cost you. How that works, I don't know at the moment. It's probably going to be streaming of some kind, maybe in tandem with PlayStation Now, which Sony have got on the records. And it'll be interesting to see how that plays out, because that could really be a game-changing feature. And then finally is No Man's Sky, which is this, well, it's a small game. It's developed by a small team based in Guildford, they're called Hello Games. And they debuted at the tail end of 2013. And the trailer they showed off was just awe-inspiring. And everyone, the whole industry just shut up and went, who are these guys and what are they doing developing this? Because previously they had developed this really small kid-like game that got solid review scores. It was just a normal game. It wasn't anything too exciting. And this game is very different. It's an open world, it's not even an open world, it's an open galaxy game. So you start off on this ship on a procedurally generated, randomly generated planet from scratch. So every single planet a player encounters will be unique to them. It will be created by them, but they'll also have the ability to share that planet with other users for them to explore, and then you can find stuff on the planets, and you can use it to go up into space, and that's seamless. So you get into your ship and you fly out of the atmosphere into space, and there's not a load screen in sight, and you can use that to trade. You can trade items, and you can improve your ship and so on. And the scope of it is ridiculous. And Sony have it as a brief console exclusive, but it's also coming to PC and probably Xbox One as well. And Hello Games were there at Sony's press conference, and they seem to be wanting to temper people's expectations, but at the same time they were also talking about the infinite possibilities. And if you're going to throw the word infinite about, people are going to stand up and listen to this. And the entertainment industry is about escapism, and it's about telling stories, and it's an escapism that games have an advantage over other media. And I think it's games like No Man's Sky, they're why this is an industry that deserves taking notice of, because not because of what it is going to be when it comes out, but because of what it could be and the wonder that has inspired in gamers. It's that sense of wonder that's why it's my game of show, because it looks fantastic. It looks utterly fantastic.
Well, for all our video games coverage, go to our website, ibtimes.co.uk.